How's it going, bro? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Fritz and I titled this video Be Aware of These Record Labels. So please make sure you watch this whole video from the beginning until the end, because I'm going to share with you my personal experiences, what I went through over the last few years of my music production journey, how I released tracks with record labels, how they pretty much scammed me, and I want to just give you a few tips how to prevent this from happening, how to basically not have the same issues as I had, because there's definitely record labels which are great, which can support your music production career, but there are also record labels which are just a scam and they're just not worth it, your time and your energy. So let me start by giving you a little story. It started all with my first ever record label, my first ever track release with a record label. The record label was called Total Freedom Recordings. Yes, they're a proper record label, and yes, if you sign with them, they are gonna release your track and you're gonna be on Spotify, and they're gonna release your track also on BEATPORT, so that's all good. What record labels want from you is the rights to have your track and to own the master version of the track what you produced. But a lot of times, especially the small record labels, they don't get any income source from your tracks. If you're a small artist and you don't have a million streams on Spotify yet, or you don't have a massive fan base, neither does the record label has. And the only way how they can make a profitable business out of releasing your tracks is by charging the music producer, for example, for mixing services or for mastering services. A lot of times the record label is gonna tell you, hey, your track is amazing, we want to release it, and you're gonna have this feeling, wow, this is amazing. Some record labels think my tracks are good, and the way how they want to make profit with you as a music producer is by charging you for mastering your track or mixing your track. So what I basically did, I submitted tracks to the record label Total Freedom Recordings and Mojo Heads Records. Mojo Heads Records especially had like a really good Instagram reach. They had like 13,000 followers or something like that, and I was like, yeah, this is amazing. Like, I want to release the track with a record label which has already a big reach, so I can benefit from them having a reach. So what they basically did, they messaged back saying, hey, your track is amazing, let's definitely release this track, but it definitely needs professional mastering. And until that point so far, I had mastered my own tracks before. I wouldn't say my master was great, but it was definitely enough to make it as loud as DJs needed if they want to play it. So I was like, okay, I sent them a master version. I was like, hey, this is how my master version sounds like. Let me know if that's good. And they're like, okay, it's definitely better than the other master version you sent me, but it's still not enough. And I was like, oh, come on, really? And then expected me to pay them in crypto $100 to master my track. Okay, what happened then is they mastered my track. They sent it over to me over, let's say, months. Like, it took literally months to release the track. By the way, make sure before I continue the story to like this video right now and subscribe to my channel to not miss out any tech house production tutorials in the future. And also turn the notification bell on, because I want you to be the first person who can implement all the knowledge. So definitely make sure to do this right now. So what I did then, basically, I released this track with a record label. It took literally months and sometimes days for them to reply to my emails. And at that stage, I didn't really know. Like, I just thought that's just a normal thing. I didn't want to blame them, but I just wanted to release this track with a record label because it has a big reach. And I thought a record label which has that much of a big reach is not gonna scam me. So yeah, I paid $100 for them to master my track, which is definitely a red flag. You should never want a record label to master your track. Usually record labels, if it's a good record label, they do it for free because you work with them together. And they also promised me saying, oh yeah, we're gonna market your track. At the end of the day, nothing really happened. So Mojo Heads Records, for example, didn't post my track on SoundCloud, neither did they post it on Instagram, and I was like, man, this is exactly the reason why I released with you. I messaged them and confronted them about it, but I didn't even get a reply on that. So one of the red flags you should definitely look out for is if you find a record label with big reach on, let's say, Instagram, definitely make sure you check out how many views does each video have, what's the engagement, how many comments does each post get, how many likes does each post get. Just having 13,000 followers on Instagram doesn't mean necessarily that it has a good fan base. And also having, let's say, 1,000 or 10,000 subscribers on SoundCloud is not a factor that it's going to be a successful track or a successful record labels, because nowadays you can buy followers on SoundCloud and on Instagram. So definitely make sure to be aware of these. Look at the engagement of the post each individually. By the way, if you are now interested in learning house music production more in detail, I'm offering one-on-one coaching sessions with all the people who want to know more about house music production, tech house, mixing, mastering, music theory, whatever you want to improve on, because I can imagine that it's quite difficult to watch all the YouTube tutorials and try to improve as much as possible, but the progress is really slow and you need someone who actually can guide you through the whole process, who's done this himself. And that's exactly why I'm offering those one-on-one coaching sessions. To know more about this, go in the link in the description and message me private over Instagram. We can talk a little bit about your goals and see exactly what we can do and how I can help you with achieving your next music production career goals. What do people say about it? Do other people talk about it? Is there any reviews on Reddit, for example? Make your research before you actually decide yourself to release a track with a record label. The other thing you should definitely look out for is definitely, why are they expecting you to pay them in crypto? Because normally you can pay them in PayPal, nothing against crypto of course, but just the fact that they just wanted me to pay them in crypto and nothing else was kind of a strange thing to me, but I didn't really care because I just wanted to release it with a record label with a big reach, and I wasn't really thinking too much into what's the engagement, and then I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna pay them in Ethereum. Another thing you should definitely consider before you release with them is to actually talk with them a little bit about the marketing strategy, because record labels take a 50%, sometimes even less or more cut of the royalties you make. And if there's not much of a benefit for them to actually release your track, why would you actually do it? If there's no marketing strategy with how they release your tracks and how they advertise your tracks, there's literally no logical reason why you should release with a record label, except if it has a big reach and it has a good fan base. But if it doesn't have a big fan base and they don't have Spotify playlists or anything like that, there's no reason for you to do it. You can literally go on DistroKid and just release it yourself, get 100% of the royalties, and other than that, there's no reason why you should release with those small labels. Yes, every label starts somewhere, but it's kind of pointless to do it. There's also good sides. I'm not just gonna say that there's just scams out there and record labels are having the worst intention and just have selfish intentions, because there are definitely record labels, for example Musicon. It is pretty much a small label, but this label basically just helped me to grow a little bit of a fan base. And then also there's an amazing artist called Dope and Koke. They created a remix of my track I Wanted, and that track has already like 6,000 streams on Spotify because they put a lot of effort into advertising it. So releasing with record label kind of opens up this like little thing of a family, and people might make remixes of your tracks, and that gives you again new exposure because you're kind of collaborating with artists, and Spotify shows that as collaborating with this person. So I definitely would say that record labels have also a lot of positive things, but definitely keep in mind to actually do your research about record labels. What's the engagement? How are they communicating? How do you have to pay them, first of all? Do you have to pay for the master? Because usually you should definitely not pay for it. And if they want you to master their track professionally, make sure you just ask a friend or someone you personally know before you actually let them master the first track, where they're gonna charge you for something, which shouldn't be happening. If you want to know now how to produce tech house like James Hyde, please make sure you check out this video there, which explains exactly in detail how to do this. It goes really much into the detail, how to arrange your tracks, what sounds you have to choose. And if you want to know how to mix your tech house tracks properly now, you can also check out definitely this video and subscribe to my channel as well. And I see you bro in the next video.